Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday again. It is October the 20th. We are here to look at the new releases that have been published this week. And on Mondays, we look at Cozy Mysteries. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Monday night. My next sprints are tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2 hours every Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday afternoons. Let us jump in. Cozy Mysteries. First up, a new one from Jacqueline Frost, 6th in the Christmas Tree Farm Mysteries. This is A Wonderful Christmas Crime. As Christmas descends on Mistletoe, Maine, Holly White has an extra gift for the season, a new baby on the way. Her husband, Sheriff Evan Gray, has been worried about her elevated blood pressure, and Holly has agreed to take this year easy. Being idle has never been one of Holly's gifts, so when Evan surprises her with tickets to the town-wide dinner, she and her many cravings thank him. But when a thief tries and fails to steal an antique ornament from the dinner's holiday display, it's clear that someone is on the naughty list. The thief manages to escape, but after dinner, Holly spots their lifeless body. It's clear that someone in town was keen to kill them. Evan is less than jolly to find his wife at the scene of yet another holiday homicide and asks her to promise that she'll leave the investigating to the police. But Holly has never been one to turn down a challenge and has to get creative with the help of a few of her friends in order to find this killer. Will she and her friends be able to stop the killer and uncover the motive behind the attempted robbery, or will the killer strike again and paint the town a bloody red? I would say more Christmas red, but Olivia Black has a new one in the Ruby and Cordelia Mysteries, Death at the Door. Ruby Young is slowly adjusting to her new life in Boston. A big part of that is her unexpected roommate, the ghost of the woman who lived there before. For Cordelia Graves, she may no longer be breathing, but it's still her apartment, and Ruby is the somewhat unwanted house guest. They're both happy they've managed to become friends, which is a miracle considering they struggle to communicate with each other. Cordelia even set Ruby up with her old job. When Ruby discovers the body of a delivery guy at work, and the new life she's been building hangs in the balance. The last time Cordelia dragged Ruby into a murder investigation, it was almost 2 ghosts living in the apartment, not 1. Determined to protect Ruby, Cordelia tries to shield her from the investigation. But Ruby has other ideas. It will take both of them working together to navigate the fine line between the dead and the living to bring a killer to light. Death on Dickens Island by Alison Brooke. First in Books on the Beach mystery series. Good morning, Elena. How you doing? She says, I am good. Oh, good. And happy Monday, indeed. Delia Dickens has come home to Dickens Island, a small island in the Long Island Sound, after a 12-year stint in Manhattan. She's looking forward to helping her father revitalize the general store that the family owns, as well as curating a small book nook. Most importantly, she wants to reunite with her 15-year-old son. But Dickens Island isn't the peaceful town Delia remembers, and she might be in more danger here than she ever was in the big city. Delia's Aunt Renee and Uncle Brad, both prominent community leaders, are at odds over the sale of a farm and its future use. This has created friction not only in their marriage but amongst the citizens of the town. When a young woman new to the town council and friendly with Brad is found murdered, everything escalates and reaches a new boiling point. With Renee and Brad both suspects in the case and at each other's throats, the townspeople start to take sides. When the ghost of her grandmother visits her, Delia learns how past events have impacted the present, and it's up to her to expose the farm's sordid secrets in order to catch a murderer and restore peace to her beloved island. Can they not just solve the crime? Talking to people, puzzling it out? No, they need a ghost ex machina. How to Talk to Your Dog About Murder by Emily Soderberg. Good morning, Mary. How'd your show go? Happy Monday. Had a good show on Saturday. Traffic was slow, but I sold some of more expensive pieces, so it made up for fewer people. Ah, that's awesome. Feels good to have work appreciated. No kidding. Congratulations. Oh, wonderful. And Mary says, how are you feeling now? Snow yet? We don't have snow. My cold is lingering. But here we are. Monday. We keep going. Nikki Jackson Ramanathan is struggling to get her pet behaviorist business off the ground, making ends meet as a dog walker while keeping her eyes peeled for greener pastures. An appointment in a rich suburb of St. Louis seems to be her ticket to success. The wealthy Mrs. Van Meer wants Nikki to help the family's old hound dog, who is grieving the loss of his owner. But then Mrs. Van Meer turns up dead. With a multitude of suspects like the sketchy landscaper, the judgy housekeeper, and the rest of Mrs. Van Meer's money-obsessed family members, Nikki's happy to sit back and let the police solve the crime, until she learns that Mrs. Van Meer's will leaves Nikki in charge of a sizable amount of money, and the police start dogging her every step. Life would be a lot easier if she just had to deal with the animals, but Nikki resolves to catch the real culprit and convince the cops they're barking up the wrong tree. End of that row. Miss Butterpig Murder, 37th in the Mary Rath Mysteries series by Leslie Langtry. Everyone in ex-CIA agent turned Girl Scout leader Mary Rath's home of Who's There, Iowa, is thrilled when the Miss Butterpig pageant for middle school girls comes to town. Okay, so the most thrilled people are the pageant moms, but there are girls in Mary's troupe who can't wait to compete as well. In fact, girls Mary has never met before come out of the woodwork, like a poetry writing goth, a Russian bodybuilder, and a baton-wielding kid whose ponytail might be a bit too tight. Mary and her friends, Kelly, Hilly, Kevin, and the Hamlets, are tapped to be judges, and everyone is getting excited for the big event. What could go wrong? Other than one of the pageant moms being found dead in the alley behind the theater, moments after trying to influence the judges on her daughter's behalf. Between dealing with Russian gangsters, most of her troupe competing as budding beauty queens, a Wagnerian operatic goose, and several overzealous pageant moms, Mary has to solve the murder quickly so the show can go on and Miss Butterpig can be crowned. I would not want to be crowned that title. Murder on the SS Cleopatra by Sarah Rossett, second in the 1920s Lady Traveler in Egypt series. Mary says, we actually had about 5 minutes of real rain last night. Woo! Some is better than none. True. We need so much more, but we'll take what we got for sure. Well, dang it. Yay, but dang it. Join Blix Windway, an adventurous lady traveler, on a journey down the Nile in 1924. An eclectic mix of passengers boards the steamer, including a captain of industry, a former stunt girl reporter turned lady of the manor, an archaeologist, an American teacher, a British doctor, and his invalid wife, and a German photographer. When a passenger is found dead, the elegant cruise turns into a floating crime scene. With everyone confined on board, tensions rise and secrets surface. Even her traveling companion, Hildy Honeyworth, is behaving as if she had something to hide. Blix must navigate the treacherous waters of the investigation and uncover the truth. Set against the stunning backdrop of the Nile River and the ancient wonders of Egypt, etc. And then it was Blurbridge. The Tomato Jam Murder, 6th in the Luscious Delights Mysteries by Meg Benjamin. Mary says, we had a beautiful Saturday weather-wise. Oh, and I met an event coordinator who loved my work and signed me up for a December show. Fantastic. Ooh, good connection there. I'd say you had a very good show. It's burro racing season in the Rockies, and Roxy Constantine is all for it. Now, if she can come up with a good recipe for tomato jam, her summer will be complete. Isn't that ketchup? But when Roxy finds a body on the burro race course, she's suddenly plunged into a murder investigation. And when her innocent friend is accused of killing her ex, Roxy must challenge a corrupt police chief who wants to shut her up. Now she needs to find the real killer and save a neighboring town from a plot to ruin its mountain magic. Short and sweet. We like it. Is this a murder mystery? I don't think so. How did that get in there? Moving on. Candy Canes and Crimes by Lisa Seifert. 6th in the Frosted Misfortunes Mysteries. Excuse me. Ava Decker craves clarity. Stuck in limbo while her maybe boyfriend takes flight overseas, the sarcastic pastry chef buries her insecurities inside her cupcakes. But, well, thanks for sharing them. But as her town immerses itself in Yuletide cheer, she pushes herself to re-enter the world and celebrate, only to discover a fellow confectioner's body floating in a lake of fudge. Grieving and prepping for the magical winter festival, the witty entrepreneur is dumbfounded by the news that she's inherited the Cocoa Master's decadent empire, and as a disgruntled relative contests the will and traces of embezzlement surface, Ava mixes a batch of relentless sleuthing with a pinch of help from her forensic accounting background. Will refusing to walk away get her Yule cake crumbled, or put a Grinch behind bars? And I forgot to click on it. We'll give it its moment. Mary says, I might throw a tomato at that cover. Ugly, in my opinion. Some of them are just, they're so meh, you wouldn't even notice. And then others are just, as you say, ugly. Pumpkins, Poltergeists, and Pushpins by C.J. Bellevue, part of Tales So Twisted. When the autumn festival turns fatal with the collapse of pie-eating champion Peter Piper, Rowan Miller's B&B dreams unravel. Magical chaos erupts. Gingerbread men sprint from stalls, lanterns snap like jaws, and the town points fingers at grieving scarecrow Patches, who's desperately stitching together his master's memory with pushpin messages. With renovations stalled and whispers threatening her family's fragile standing, Rowan must untangle glowing wool fibers, toxic secrets, and a killer's alibi before fear condemns innocent Patches and shuts Spinner's end forever. Guided by her sarcastic, curse-touched dog Stitch and a thread magic heritage, she races to weave the truth from a tapestry of lies, even as every clue pulls her deeper into a flock of enchanted sheep and their blackmailed shepherdess. Can she stitch the real culprits behind the crime before the town tears her world apart? You know what? Just give me a good murder. That's all I ask for. A Zappy Little Christmas by Paula Charles, 3rd in the Hometown Hardware Mysteries. Pine Bluff, Oregon resembles a perfect cozy Christmas card. Sparkling Christmas trees line snowy Main Street, Wreaths, red ribbons, and colored lights adorn every door. Hardware store owner Donna Carpenter is in a festive mood. She invites her elderly neighbor Smitty to join her and daughter April on the Christmas Light Tour, a trolley that takes guests through all the best decorated neighborhoods while they enjoy steaming mugs of hot cocoa and scrumptious treats. But when Smitty spies one of the homeowners dead, a macabre decoration in an otherwise merry display, the cheerful ride turns somber fast. Donna notices the ghost of the deceased woman standing next to the display, because they do, clearly angry over her recent demise. I would be angry too. As snow blankets the valley and her newest employees implicated in the crime, it's up to Donna to find out who's been naughty and who's been nice before it's lights out for her too. Murder and the Brewer by Marian McCarthy, fourth in the Psychic Last Responder. Summer heat sizzles in Vardo as a cool new microbrewery opens on the edge of town. The resident brewer is Hildegard Jurisch, a practicing witch and distant cousin to psychic mortician Perry Spock. The town rallies around the new venture, toasting the summer season with Hildegard's cold concoction, a special wit beer called Solstice. But trouble brews on a hot night as vandals desecrate the sacred Yehopa burial mounds and trash the brew deck at Hildegard's. At the same time, swarms of cicadas emerge from underground, along with a skull on the brewery grounds. Perry, now in a hot and heavy relationship with hunky Sheriff Reg Woolerock, investigates the strange events and discovers that Vardo is built atop a large vortex of power energy. Next, two suspects in the Yehopa grave desecration and brewery vandalism are found dead with no clues to the cause. Then Perry's dog Django uncovers a human femur on her aunt's farm, pointing to a recent murder. Who is the victim, and who or what is responsible? In the midst of the earth-shaking investigations, Reg's ex-wife sends his wife to live with his father in Vardo. Reg and Perry must join forces to acclimate the troubled boy to his new hometown while solving a murder and taming the environmental forces that threaten the good citizens they serve. Can Perry's sixth sense team up with Reg's forensic forte to crack the case? Those vortexes you don't mess with. End of that row. I've had experience with those. Mary says, so interesting to hear the names the authors come up with for their characters. Indeed. I agree. Moving Waters by Jenna St. James and Stephanie D'Amour. 12th in the Enchanted Waters Mysteries. This is a crossover from the Witch in the Woods mystery series! Exclamation point. It's moving day for crocodile shifter, that would be inconvenient, Nick Thatcher. PADA detective Isla Certus is excited for Nick to be closer to both his twin brother Neil and his girlfriend Bristol. But when a sudden hurricane forms in the direct path of the Bermuda Triangle, the three islands scramble to take cover. The last thing Isla and Jace expect to encounter is a body out by the northern cliffs. Can the two detectives figure out who would want the old sea witch dead before the storm hits, or will the killer vanish with the tide? Dirge for the Dead, third in the Strife After Death series by Mara Webb. Cora Hart was expecting ocean breezes, fancy cocktails, and a quiet weekend away from supernatural nonsense when she checked into the brand new Ivory Hotel. But when a snooty travel critic takes a fatal tumble from the Widow's Walk, Cora finds herself diving headfirst into another murder with a saltwater ghost, a secret note, and a suspicious spell jar all floating around the scene. Now she must dust off her instincts, keep her kitsune in check, and untangle a case full of jealous rivals, buried secrets, and one very persistent spirit who refuses to rest. To complicate things further, Damon, charming, enigmatic drinking game, and annoyingly perceptive, arrives with his own hidden agenda and a knack for showing up right when everything goes sideways. With a hotel full of influencers and suspects, time is running out, and if Cora isn't careful, she may be the next guest checking out permanently. An Anointed Woman by Sarah F. Knoll, 12th in the Tabitha and Wolfe Historical Mystery Series. Tabitha and Wolfe have been invited to historic Salisbury for a scholarly lecture celebrating their recent discovery at Pembroke Castle. However, the occasion takes a dark turn when the lecturer is found dead beneath the towering ruins of Old Sarum. As the couple begins to investigate, they are drawn into a labyrinth of ancient Druidic rites, shadowy church intrigues, and secrets buried beneath the chalky plains. An excavation near Stonehenge uncovers more than bones, awakening old rivalries and posing new dangers. In a landscape where myth and history intertwine, Tabitha and Wolfe must navigate shifting allegiances and long-buried truths. As tensions rise and the past casts long shadows over the present, they must race to uncover the killer before another body is claimed by secrets that are best left buried. And that is all that we will have time for today. It's a good place to stop at, because I'll remember it. Mary says, do tell about my vortex experience. I was taking my psychic medium class, and we went to somebody's house out in the Heights, and to do table tipping. If you know what that is, it's, asking spirit to tip your tables that you're sitting at, and you hold hands and all that stuff. And long story short, not only did the table tip, it was moving all around the room and up on people. It was not a hoax. It was very real. So don't mess with vortexes. Mary says, thank you so much. Hope and Elena have a great day, even though it is a Monday. I know. Blah. Looks like a beautiful day here. Oh, good. Hope to see you later at Thunder Horse Ascendant. Cheers. And Elena says, bye. Yes, Mary, you need to start working on some more jewelry. You got another show coming up. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Our next morning show is on Wednesday morning, where we'll look at the dark side of mysteries, the crime fiction and thrillers. And again, I don't have any sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And as Elena reminds us, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Om nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.